Picture a tiny stream persistently carving its path through solid rock, not with overwhelming force, but with the gentle, unwavering consistency of its daily flow. Your own journey towards mastery, towards creating truly unstoppable habits for extraordinary results, operates on this very same principle. Many of us seek that one massive effort, that sudden breakthrough, often overlooking the quiet, formidable power of small, deliberate actions repeated day after day. This isn't about waiting for motivation to strike. It's about building an intelligent system of daily practices that make progress almost automatic. Together, we will uncover the strategies to transform your routines into powerful engines of achievement, sculpting the expertise and life you envision through the art of daily dedication. Daily Mastery: Create Unstoppable Habits for Results. Written and published by Brainpower Blueprint. Chapter 1. Spark Your Mastery Journey. Have you ever watched an artisan effortlessly craft a masterpiece? A musician lose themselves in a flawless performance, or an athlete execute a skill with breathtaking precision, and wondered, how do they do it? Is such mastery reserved for a select few born with extraordinary gifts, or is there a path that anyone, with the right approach, can follow? What if the spark that ignites this journey towards exceptional skill and profound achievement isn't a rare talent, but a particular way of thinking and a commitment to a specific kind of daily practice? Imagine yourself embarking on a similar path, not towards someone else's definition of success, but towards a deep and fulfilling mastery in an area that truly excites you. This isn't a distant dream. It's the beginning of your mastery journey, a path that starts not with a giant leap, but with a single intentional spark. Many of us harbor aspirations for personal or professional mastery. We dream of excelling in our careers, mastering a new skill, achieving peak physical fitness, or cultivating a deep sense of inner peace. Yet, the path to such accomplishments often seems shrouded in mystery, overwhelmingly difficult, or simply too long. We look at our big goals and feel a sense of paralysis, not knowing where to begin or how to sustain the effort required. We might dabble in something new, full of initial enthusiasm, only to abandon it when progress feels slow or when we encounter the first significant obstacle. A common belief is that mastery is the domain of the exceptionally talented or the incredibly lucky. And if we don't see immediate, remarkable results, we conclude that we simply don't have what it takes. This leads to a cycle of starting and stopping, of unfulfilled potential, and a quiet resignation that our deepest aspirations might remain forever out of reach. We feel stuck, not because we lack ability, but because we haven't yet ignited the true spark of the mastery journey. The transformative solution begins with a fundamental shift in perspective, understanding that mastery is not an exclusive club for the gifted, but a journey accessible to anyone willing to embrace a growth mindset and commit to consistent, deliberate daily action. The spark isn't innate talent. It's the belief that your abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. This is the core of what psychologist Carol Dweck calls a growth mindset, the understanding that intelligence and skills are not fixed traits but can be cultivated over time. When you adopt this mindset, you see challenges not as threats to your ego, but as opportunities to learn and grow. Effort becomes the path to mastery, and setbacks are viewed as valuable feedback rather than proof of your limitations. The profound benefit of this initial spark is that it unlocks your capacity for learning, fuels your motivation through difficulties, and transforms the entire process of skill development from a daunting task into an exciting adventure. You begin to realize that the journey of 1,000 miles truly does begin with a single, well-intentioned step, taken consistently. The very first action in sparking your mastery journey is to consciously understand and adopt this growth mindset. Recognize that your brain is like a muscle. It gets stronger and more capable with use and challenge. Dismiss the notion that you are either good or bad at something inherently. Instead, tell yourself, I can improve at anything I put my mind and effort into. Why this is the foundational spark is because without it, the inevitable difficulties of the mastery journey will extinguish your motivation. A growth mindset provides the resilience to persist. What this looks like in practice is catching yourself when you say, I'm not a math person, or I'll never be good at public speaking. Reframe those thoughts to, I can develop my math skills with practice, or I can improve my public speaking abilities with consistent effort. Celebrate effort and progress, however small, rather than just focusing on perfect outcomes. When you encounter a setback, ask, what can I learn from this, instead of, am I a failure? Once you've embraced the growth mindset, the next step is to define your initial area of focus for mastery. While you might have many areas you wish to improve, trying to master everything at once is a recipe for overwhelm and failure. Choose one specific skill or area that genuinely excites you or is critically important for your goals right now. It could be learning a new language, mastering a particular software, improving your writing skills, or developing your leadership abilities. Why starting with a focused area is crucial is because it allows you to channel your energy and efforts effectively, leading to tangible progress more quickly, which in turn fuels motivation. Spreading yourself too thin dilutes your impact. What this looks like in practice is sitting down and brainstorming potential areas for mastery. Consider your passions, your career goals, and areas where improvement would make a significant difference in your life. Then select one, just one for now, to pour your initial energy into. You can always expand later, but for now, clarity and focus are key. With your chosen area defined, the next essential step is to set a compelling vision for this mastery. What does success in this area look like and feel like to you? Why is achieving this level of skill or competence important to you on a deeper level? Your vision should be more than just a vague goal. It should be a vivid, inspiring picture of your future self, proficient and confident in your chosen domain. This vision will serve as your North Star, guiding you through challenges and keeping you motivated when the daily grind feels tough. Why a compelling vision is so powerful is because it connects your daily efforts to a larger, meaningful purpose. It answers the why behind your pursuit, providing intrinsic motivation that outlasts fleeting enthusiasm. What this looks like in practice is writing down a detailed description of what mastery in your chosen area means to you. How will it change your life or career? How will you feel? What impact will you be able to make? Read this vision regularly to keep it fresh in your mind and to reignite your commitment when needed. Finally, to truly spark your mastery journey, you must commit to the process, not just the desired outcome. Mastery is not a destination you arrive at and then stop. It's a continuous journey of learning, practicing, refining, and growing. Fall in love with the daily act of showing up and putting in the effort, even when results aren't immediately apparent. Embrace the repetitions, the challenges, and even the boredom that can sometimes accompany deep practice. Why committing to the process is essential is because an overemphasis on outcomes can lead to impatience and frustration when progress is slow. When you focus on and enjoy the process, the outcomes take care of themselves over time. It shifts your focus from external validation to internal satisfaction derived from the work itself. What this looks like in practice is setting process-oriented goals rather than just outcome-oriented ones. For example, instead of just aiming to become a great writer, outcome, commit to writing for 30 minutes every day, process. Celebrate your consistency in showing up and doing the work, regardless of the immediate quality of that day's output. This builds the discipline and resilience needed for the long haul. Consider Sarah, who always dreamed of playing the guitar but believed she had no musical talent. After learning about the growth mindset, she decided to challenge that belief. Her initial area of focus was simple: learn to play 3 basic chords smoothly. Her vision was to be able to play her favorite songs for her friends around a campfire. She committed to practicing for just 15 minutes every day, focusing on the process of learning each chord, rather than worrying about how quickly she'd become a guitar virtuoso. There were days her fingers ached, and the sounds she produced were far from musical. But because she had embraced a growth mindset, she saw these struggles as part of learning. She celebrated small victories, like finally getting a chord to ring out clearly. Her focused effort, driven by a clear vision and a commitment to the daily process, slowly but surely transformed her initial fumbling into confident strumming. Sarah sparked her mastery journey not with innate talent, but with a shift in mindset and a dedication to small, consistent steps. Your mastery journey begins the moment you decide to embrace growth. Focus your efforts, envision your success, and commit to the daily process. This initial spark is the most crucial step, setting the stage for all the progress and achievements that will follow. With this foundation in place, how do you then translate this commitment into a tangible, practical system that ensures consistent action and progress every single day? How do you build the very architecture of daily mastery? The next chapter will guide you through the practicalities of designing your daily system, creating a robust framework of routines and habits that will turn your aspirations for mastery into an everyday reality. Are you ready to build the engine that will drive your journey forward day after day? Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 2. Design your daily system. Imagine an architect meticulously drafting a blueprint before construction begins on a magnificent skyscraper. Every support beam, every electrical wire, every window placement is carefully planned to ensure the structure is strong, functional, and enduring. Similarly, achieving daily mastery and building unstoppable habits requires not just enthusiasm or willpower, but a thoughtfully designed daily system. Your personal blueprint for success. Without such a system, our best intentions can easily get lost in the chaos of daily life, leaving our goals as distant dreams. But what if you could architect your days in such a way that progress on your mastery journey becomes almost inevitable? This chapter is about moving from aspiration to action by designing a daily system that supports your growth, streamlines your efforts, and embeds the pursuit of mastery into the very fabric of your routine. The common problem many of us face after the initial spark of inspiration is the difficulty in translating that enthusiasm into consistent, day-to-day action. We might have a clear vision and a chosen area of focus, but our days feel reactive rather than proactive. We get caught up in urgent but unimportant tasks, distractions abound, and before we know it, another day has passed without any meaningful progress on our most important goals. We might try to rely on willpower alone, but willpower is a finite resource that ebbs and flows. Without a structured approach, our efforts become sporadic and inconsistent, leading to frustration and the feeling that we're just not disciplined enough. We might have the best tools and materials, our skills and aspirations, but without a solid blueprint, our daily system, we struggle to build anything lasting. This lack of a system is often the primary reason why people fail to make sustained progress towards mastery, despite their genuine desire to do so. The transformative solution lies in consciously designing and implementing a daily system that automates and supports your desired behaviors and goals. This system acts as the scaffolding for your habits, providing structure, direction, and consistency to your efforts. The core idea is that by creating intentional routines and optimizing your environment, you reduce the need for constant decision-making and reliance on willpower, making it easier to show up and do the work required for mastery, even on days when you don't feel motivated. Think of your daily system as creating a path of least resistance towards your goals. The benefits are profound: increased productivity, reduced stress from decision fatigue, greater consistency in your actions, a stronger sense of control over your time and energy, and a steady, compounding accumulation of progress that builds momentum and reinforces your commitment to your mastery journey. The first principle in designing your daily system is to establish clear bookends for your day. A morning routine to set you up for success, and an evening routine to wind down and prepare for the next day. Your morning routine should ideally include activities that energize you, align you with your goals, and allow for focused work on your chosen area of mastery before the demands of the day take over. This might involve activities like meditation, exercise, journaling, reading, or dedicated practice time. Why a morning routine is powerful is because it allows you to win the morning, thereby setting a positive tone and momentum for the entire day. What this looks like in practice is waking up even 15 to 30 minutes earlier to consciously engage in activities that support your growth, rather than immediately checking your phone or diving into reactive tasks. Your evening routine, conversely, should help you decompress, reflect on your day, and prepare for a restful night's sleep, which is crucial for learning and energy. This could include reading fiction, light stretching, journaling about lessons learned, or planning your priorities for the next day. This ensures you end the day intentionally and wake up prepared. A key component of your daily system is the strategic scheduling of your most important tasks, particularly those related to your mastery journey. This involves identifying your peak energy and focus times during the day and dedicating those periods to your most cognitively demanding work or practice. This is often referred to as time blocking or scheduling your priorities. Instead of just having a to-do list, you assign specific blocks of time in your calendar for these critical activities, treating them as important appointments. Why this approach works is because it ensures that your most valuable time is allocated to your most valuable tasks, protecting that time from less important demands. It moves you from a reactive mode to a proactive one. What this looks like in practice is looking at your week ahead and scheduling 60-90-minute blocks for focused work on your mastery skill. During these blocks, you eliminate distractions and give your full attention to the task at hand, just as you would for an important meeting. Optimizing your environment is another critical aspect of designing an effective daily system. Your physical and digital spaces can either support or sabotage your efforts. Aim to create an environment that makes your desired habits easy and obvious, and your undesired habits difficult and invisible. If your goal is to practice an instrument, keep it visible and easily accessible. If you want to read more, place books strategically around your home. If you want to avoid distractions, set up your workspace to minimize interruptions and use tools to block distracting websites or apps during focus periods. Why your environment is so influential is because it provides constant cues that trigger your behaviors, often unconsciously. By curating your environment, you are essentially programming these cues to work in your favor. What this looks like in practice is decluttering your desk, organizing your learning materials, setting up your computer to open directly to your work tools rather than social media, or even investing in noise-canceling headphones if you work in a noisy space. Every small adjustment contributes to a system that supports focus and productivity. Incorporating regular breaks and periods of rest into your daily system is not a luxury, but a necessity for sustained performance and mastery. Many people try to power through long stretches of work, believing it's the fastest way to achieve results, but this often leads to burnout, decreased productivity, and diminished creativity. Techniques like the Pomodoro technique, which involves focused work intervals, e.g. 25 minutes, followed by short breaks, e.g. 5 minutes, can be incredibly effective. Why regular breaks are crucial is because your brain needs time to consolidate learning and recover its capacity for focused attention. Short breaks can prevent mental fatigue and help you maintain a high level of performance over longer periods. What this looks like in practice is setting a timer for your work intervals and then taking a genuine break when it goes off. Step away from your screen, stretch, get some water, or look out the window. Ensure you also get adequate sleep, as this is when much of your learning and memory consolidation occurs. Finally, build a mechanism for regular review and adaptation into your daily system. No system is perfect from the outset, and your needs and circumstances will change over time. Set aside a short period each week, perhaps 15 to 30 minutes on a Sunday evening, to review what worked well in your daily system, what challenges you faced, and what adjustments you might need to make for the upcoming week. Why this review process is important is because it allows your system to evolve and remain effective. It prevents your routines from becoming stale or misaligned with your current goals. What this looks like in practice is asking yourself questions like, did my morning routine energize me? Were my scheduled focus blocks productive? What distractions consistently pulled me off track? What one small change can I make to my system next week to improve it? This iterative process of refinement is key to maintaining a daily system that truly supports your mastery journey. Consider Maria, a freelance writer aiming to master the art of fiction writing while juggling client work. She felt her days were chaotic. She designed a daily system starting with a morning routine. 30 minutes of yoga, followed by 1 hour of dedicated fiction writing before checking emails or starting client projects. She time-blocked specific afternoons for deep client work and other slots for administrative tasks. She optimized her writing environment by creating a dedicated, clutter-free writing nook and using a website blocker during her fiction writing hour. She incorporated 10-minute breaks after every 50 minutes of focused work. Every Sunday, she reviewed her week, noting how many fiction writing sessions she completed and how focused she felt, making small adjustments like tweaking her wake-up time or her break activities. This daily system transformed her productivity and significantly accelerated her progress in fiction writing, all because she moved from hoping for progress to designing for it. Your daily system is your personal engine for achieving mastery. By thoughtfully designing your routines, scheduling your priorities, optimizing your environment, incorporating rest, and committing to regular review, you create a powerful framework that makes consistent progress not just possible, but probable. With such a system in place, you're well on your way to turning daily actions into unstoppable habits. But what about those old unhelpful habits that might still be lurking, threatening to sabotage your new, carefully designed system? How do you effectively dismantle these ingrained patterns? The next chapter will delve into the mechanics of breaking old habit loops, providing you with the understanding and strategies to identify, deconstruct, and replace those counterproductive habits that hold you back. Are you ready to clear out the old to make even more space for the new you are building? Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 3. Break old habit loops. Imagine trying to plant a beautiful new garden in a plot of land already overrun with stubborn weeds. No matter how carefully you sow the new seeds or nurture the young saplings, their growth will be choked and hindered by the existing unwelcome plants unless you first take the time to remove those weeds by their roots. Similarly, as you embark on your journey of daily mastery and strive to cultivate positive, empowering habits, you may find your progress impeded by old, deeply ingrained habit loops that no longer serve you, or perhaps never did. These are the weeds of your mental landscape, and effectively breaking these loops is crucial for creating fertile ground for new growth. This chapter will illuminate the process of identifying, understanding, and systematically dismantling those old habit loops that stand between you and your goals. The problem many of us encounter is the tenacity of old habits. These automated behaviors, whether it's procrastinating on important tasks by endlessly scrolling through social media, reaching for unhealthy snacks when stressed, or engaging in negative self-talk when faced with a challenge, often operate on autopilot. We might consciously know these habits are detrimental and sincerely want to change them, yet we find ourselves repeatedly falling back into the same patterns, almost against our will. This can lead to immense frustration, feelings of guilt, and a sense of powerlessness, making us question our ability to ever truly change. The reason these old habits are so difficult to break is because they are deeply etched into our neural pathways, often reinforced over years, and are usually triggered by specific cues and rewarded by some form of immediate, albeit temporary, relief or pleasure. They form a powerful, self-perpetuating loop. The transformative solution lies in understanding the fundamental structure of any habit, the habit loop, and then strategically intervening at key points within that loop to disrupt and replace the unwanted behavior. Popularized by Charles Duhigg in The Power of Habit, this loop consists of 3 core components: a cue, the trigger that tells your brain to go into automatic mode and which habit to use; a routine, the physical, mental, or emotional behavior itself; and a reward, which helps your brain figure out if this particular loop is worth remembering for the future. By becoming a detective of your own habits, identifying these components for each unwanted behavior, you can then systematically re-engineer the loop. The core idea is that you don't necessarily eliminate a habit, but rather you replace the old, unhelpful routine with a new, more constructive one, while often keeping the same cue and aiming for a similar or even better reward. This approach is far more effective than simply trying to resist a habit through sheer willpower. The benefit is a sense of empowerment as you realize you can change ingrained patterns, leading to lasting behavioral shifts and clearing the path for your desired mastery habits to flourish. The first crucial step in breaking an old habit loop is to precisely identify the routine you want to change. While this might seem obvious, it's important to be specific. For example, instead of a vague goal like "stop procrastinating," identify the specific procrastinating behavior. When I sit down to work on an important report, Q, I find myself opening social media and scrolling for 30 minutes, routine. Or, when I feel stressed in the afternoon, I eat a bag of chips, routine. Why specificity is important is because you can't effectively change a behavior if you haven't clearly defined it. Generic intentions lead to generic results. What this looks like in practice is choosing one specific habit you want to break. For a few days, consciously observe when this habit occurs and what exactly you do. Write it down in detail. This act of observation alone can begin to weaken the habit's automatic nature. Once you've identified the routine, the next step is to experiment to pinpoint the cues that trigger it. Cues generally fall into one of 5 categories: location, time, emotional state, other people, or the immediately preceding action. For several days, whenever you engage in the unwanted routine, make a note of these 5 things. For instance, if the unwanted routine is mindless snacking, you might note, "Where am I? Kitchen. What time is it? 3 p.m. What's my emotional state? Bored, stressed. Who else is around? Alone. What action preceded this? Finished a difficult task." After a few days, patterns will likely emerge, revealing the specific triggers for your habit. Why identifying the cue is critical is because the cue is what launches the automatic behavior. If you can recognize and manage the cue, you can often prevent the unwanted routine from even starting. What this looks like in practice is keeping a small habit diary for a week, specifically noting these 5 categories each time the targeted habit occurs. This data collection is key to understanding the mechanics of your habit. With the routine and cue identified, the third step is to understand the reward your brain is seeking from this habit. What craving is the routine satisfying? The reward isn't always obvious. For example, the reward for scrolling social media might not be the content itself, but a temporary distraction from a challenging task, a fleeting sense of connection, or a break from boredom. The reward for eating chips might be a momentary relief from stress or a satisfying crunch. To figure this out, experiment with different rewards after you engage in the routine, or better yet, when you feel the urge. If you think the reward is stress relief, try a 5-minute walk or a quick meditation instead of the old routine. Does that satisfy the craving? Why understanding the reward is essential is because the habit loop exists to deliver that reward. If you can find a healthier routine that delivers a similar reward, you're much more likely to successfully change the habit. What this looks like in practice is when you feel the urge for your old routine, try substituting a different action that you believe might satisfy the underlying craving. Pay attention to whether the craving subsides. This experimentation helps you uncover what you're really seeking. Now that you understand the cue, routine, and reward, you can create a plan to change the routine. You generally keep the cue and aim for the same reward, but you consciously choose a new, more positive routine to insert into the loop. For example, if the cue is feeling stressed in the afternoon and the reward sought is stress relief, instead of the old routine of eating chips, your new routine could be doing 5 minutes of deep breathing exercises or listening to one upbeat song. Write down your plan. When cue happens, I will new routine in order to get reward. Why having a clear plan works is because it provides an explicit instruction for your brain to follow when the cue appears, rather than defaulting to the old pattern. It makes the change intentional. What this looks like in practice is, once you've identified your new routine, visualize yourself performing it when the cue arises. Rehearse it mentally. You might even set reminders for yourself initially. For instance, if 3 p.m. usually triggers boredom, craving for stimulation, leading to social media, old routine. Your plan could be, at 3 p.m., I will spend 5 minutes reading an interesting article or working on a hobby project, new routine. To feel engaged, reward. Breaking old habit loops takes time and persistence. There will likely be moments when you slip back into the old routine. When this happens, don't view it as a complete failure or a reason to give up. Instead, treat it as a learning opportunity. Analyze what went wrong. Did you misidentify the cue or the reward? Was your new routine not satisfying enough? Or did an unexpected trigger derail you? Why self-compassion and analysis are important during slip-ups is because they prevent you from falling into a shame spiral and abandoning your efforts. Every slip-up provides more data to refine your plan. What this looks like in practice is if you revert to your old habit, instead of self-criticism, ask, what happened just before? What was I feeling? How can I adjust my plan to better handle this situation next time? Then, recommit to your new routine at the very next opportunity. Remember the never miss twice principle we've discussed before in the context of forming good habits. It applies equally to breaking bad ones. Consider Tom, who had a habit of checking his phone for news updates, routine, every time he felt a moment of boredom or a lull in his work, cue, seeking mental stimulation, reward. This was fragmenting his attention and reducing his productivity. He identified the cue, boredom lull, and the reward, mental engagement. He then designed a new routine. When he felt that cue, instead of grabbing his phone, he would pick up a book of stimulating essays he kept on his desk and read for 5 to 10 minutes, or he would do a quick brain teaser puzzle. This new routine provided a similar reward of mental engagement, but in a more focused and less distracting way. Initially, he often forgot and reached for his phone, but he didn't give up. He analyzed why he slipped, often realizing he hadn't made the book visible enough or the puzzle accessible. He made adjustments, and over several weeks, the new routine became stronger and the old habit loop significantly weakened. By understanding the mechanics of your old habits and systematically working to re-engineer them, you clear the path for positive change and create space for the empowering habits that support your mastery journey. This process of weeding out the old is just as important as planting the new. But what if the new habits you're trying to cultivate could be made even more powerful, more deeply ingrained, by connecting them to the very person you aspire to become? How can you make your habits an expression of your evolving identity? The next chapter will explore the potent concept of identity-based habits, showing you how to shift from merely doing habits to becoming the kind of person for whom those behaviors are a natural extension. Are you ready to forge habits that are not just actions, but affirmations of your best self? Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 4. Form identity-based habits. Imagine two people trying to quit smoking. When offered a cigarette, the first person says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." The second person says, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." Which statement do you think carries more power and conviction? The subtle but profound difference lies in identity. The first person is still clinging to the identity of a smoker who is trying to change their behavior. The second person has already adopted the identity of a non-smoker, and their behavior, declining the cigarette, is a natural consequence of that identity. This illustrates the incredible power of identity-based habits. As you continue your journey of daily mastery, what if the habits you're building weren't just about achieving certain outcomes, but about shaping and reinforcing the very person you aspire to become? This chapter will guide you in forging habits that are deeply rooted in your desired identity, making them more meaningful, sustainable, and transformative. The common challenge many face when trying to build new habits is focusing solely on the outcomes they want to achieve, e.g., I want to lose weight, I want to write a book, or the processes they need to follow, e.g., I need to go to the gym, I need to write 500 words a day. While outcomes provide direction and processes provide a plan, this approach can sometimes feel like a chore, a list of tasks to be checked off. When motivation wanes or life gets busy, These outcome-focused or process-focused habits can be the first to go because they might not feel deeply connected to who we are or who we want to be. We might ask ourselves, why am I really doing this? And if the answer is just about an external result, the internal drive might not be strong enough to sustain the effort long term, especially when faced with difficulties. This disconnect can lead to inconsistent behaviors and a feeling that we are just going through the motions rather than truly transforming. The transformative solution, as popularized by James Clear in Atomic Habits, is to shift your focus from what you want to achieve to who you wish to become. Identity-based habits are centered on changing your beliefs about yourself first. You start by deciding the type of person you want to be, and then you prove it to yourself with small wins through your actions. The core idea is that your habits are how you embody a particular identity. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. True behavior change is identity change. When your habits are an expression of your desired identity, they become intrinsically motivating and deeply ingrained. The benefits are profound. Habits feel less like a burden and more like a natural extension of who you are. This leads to greater consistency, increased self-belief, and a powerful alignment between your actions, your beliefs, and your goals, creating a virtuous cycle of positive reinforcement and authentic growth. The first step in forming identity-based habits is to clearly define the kind of person you want to become in relation to your mastery journey. Instead of starting with, what do I want to achieve, ask yourself, who do I want to be? For example, if your goal is to get fit, the identity might be, I am a healthy and active person. If your goal is to learn a new skill, the identity could be, I am a dedicated learner, or I am a skilled practitioner of X. Be specific and frame it in the present tense, as if it's already true. Why this is the starting point is because your identity drives your behaviors. If you believe you are a certain type of person, you will act in accordance with that belief. What this looks like in practice is writing down 1 to 3 identity statements that resonate deeply with the mastery you are pursuing. For example, I am a disciplined writer who shows up every day. I am an athlete who fuels my body well and trains consistently. I am a calm and patient parent. Once you've defined your desired identity, the next step is to identify the small, consistent habits that this type of person would embody. Ask yourself, what would your desired identity do in this situation? What daily actions would they take? For instance, if your identity is, I am a healthy person, then a healthy person probably makes conscious food choices, exercises regularly, and prioritizes sleep. If your identity is, I am a focused student, then a focused student likely minimizes distractions, reviews material regularly, and asks questions. Break these down into very small, manageable daily or weekly actions. Why this connection between identity and habits is crucial is because each time you perform one of these habits, you are casting a vote for that identity, reinforcing your belief in it. What this looks like in practice is listing 2 to 3 small habits that directly align with each of your chosen identity statements. For I am a disciplined writer, a habit might be write for 15 minutes every morning or edit 1 page every afternoon. These actions become evidence supporting your new identity. The power of identity-based habits is truly unlocked when you focus on these small wins as affirmations of your identity. Every time you complete one of your identified habits, no matter how minor it seems, consciously acknowledge to yourself that this action is reinforcing who you are becoming. For example, after you choose a healthy salad over fries, tell yourself, this is what a healthy person does. I am a healthy person. After you complete your 15-minute writing session, affirm, I am a writer. This is what writers do. Why these small affirmations are so effective is because they build a feedback loop between your actions and your beliefs. Your actions provide evidence for your identity, and your strengthening identity makes it easier to perform those actions consistently. What this looks like in practice is a subtle internal dialogue. It's not about grand pronouncements, but a quiet, internal acknowledgement that connects your behavior to your chosen identity. This builds self-efficacy and makes the habit feel more authentic and meaningful. It's also important to be mindful of how your environment and social circles support or hinder your desired identity. Surround yourself with cues, people, and information that reinforce the person you want to become. If you want to be a more avid reader, fill your home with books and join a book club. If you want to be a more positive person, spend time with optimistic individuals and limit exposure to constant negativity. Why this environmental and social alignment matters is because our surroundings and relationships significantly shape our beliefs and behaviors, often unconsciously. Aligning them with your desired identity reduces friction and provides support. What this looks like in practice is curating your social media feeds to follow inspiring individuals who embody the traits you admire, decluttering your workspace to reflect the organized and focused professional you aim to be, or actively seeking out communities, online or offline, that share your values and aspirations related to your new identity. Finally, understand that your identity is not set in stone. It is fluid and can evolve. As you grow and achieve mastery in one area, you may choose to cultivate new aspects of your identity or refine existing ones. The process of forming identity-based habits is an ongoing journey of self-discovery and self-creation. Be patient with yourself. There may be days when your actions don't perfectly align with your desired identity. In those moments, don't abandon the identity. Simply acknowledge the inconsistency and recommit to casting more votes for the person you want to be with your next action. Why this flexibility and self-compassion are important is because striving for an all-or-nothing perfection can be demotivating. The goal is progress, not instantaneous transformation. What this looks like in practice is if you, aiming to be an early riser, oversleep one day, you don't conclude, "I'm not an early riser after all." Instead, you reaffirm, "I am an early riser, and tomorrow I will get back on track with that habit." Focus on the overall trajectory of becoming, rather than isolated incidents. Consider Alex, who wanted to become more knowledgeable about current affairs and world events, but often got lost in trivial online content. His outcome goal was to know more, but it felt vague. He shifted to an identity. "I am an informed and engaged global citizen." He then asked, "What does an informed global citizen do?" He decided they likely read reputable news sources daily and discussed current events thoughtfully. So he built small habits. Read one article from a respected international news source during breakfast and listen to a 15-minute news podcast during his commute. Every time he did this, he reminded himself, "This is what an informed citizen does. I am becoming more informed." Over time, these actions, rooted in his desired identity, became second nature. He wasn't just doing tasks, he was being the person he aspired to be, and his knowledge and engagement naturally grew as a result. Forming identity-based habits transforms habit building from a mechanical process into a meaningful journey of becoming. By defining who you want to be and letting that identity guide your daily actions, you create a powerful synergy that makes your habits more sustainable and your personal growth more profound. But even with strong identity-based habits, the path to mastery requires consistent effort, especially when faced with challenges or waning motivation. How do you cultivate the underlying mental fortitude, the discipline and grit needed to sustain these habits long enough to achieve truly significant results? The next chapter will focus on training discipline and grit, the twin engines that will power your journey through the inevitable obstacles and keep you on track toward daily mastery. Are you ready to develop the resilience and tenacity of a true master? Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 5. Train Discipline and Grit. Have you ever looked at someone who consistently achieves their goals? Someone who wakes up early to exercise, dedicates focused hours to their craft, or steadily works towards a long-term ambition, and marveled at their seemingly superhuman discipline and grit? Perhaps you've wondered if these qualities are innate traits reserved for a fortunate few, or if they are something that can be actively cultivated. What if the ability to resist distractions, to push through discomfort, and to stay committed to your habits even when motivation fades wasn't a gift, but a skill you could train, much like a muscle? This chapter is dedicated to demystifying discipline and grit, showing you how to develop these twin engines that will power your daily mastery journey, especially when the path becomes challenging and your initial enthusiasm wanes. The common problem many of us face is not a lack of desire for our goals, but a deficiency in the sustained effort required to reach them. We start new habits with vigor, fueled by motivation, but when that initial surge subsides, or when we encounter obstacles or boredom, our resolve crumbles. We find ourselves easily distracted, procrastinating on the very actions we know are crucial for our progress, or giving up entirely at the first sign of significant difficulty. This reliance on fleeting motivation, rather than steadfast discipline, leads to inconsistent habits, stalled progress, and a cycle of self-blame for not having enough willpower. We might see discipline as a form of punishment or restriction, rather than a tool for liberation and achievement, and grit as an almost mythical quality rather than a developable characteristic. This gap between our aspirations and our ability to consistently execute is where many journeys to mastery falter. The transformative solution lies in understanding that both discipline and grit are not fixed personality traits you either have or don't, but rather mental skills and capacities that can be systematically trained and strengthened through conscious practice. Discipline, in this context, is the ability to choose what you want most, your long-term goals and desired identity, over what you want now, immediate gratification or avoidance of discomfort. Grit, as defined by psychologist Angela Duckworth, is the powerful combination of passion and perseverance towards long-term goals. It's about maintaining effort and interest over years despite failure, adversity, and plateaus in progress. The core idea is that by intentionally engaging in specific practices, you can build your capacity for self-control, resilience, and sustained commitment, making you far less reliant on the unpredictable nature of motivation. The benefits are immense. You'll develop the ability to follow through on your intentions, build truly unstoppable habits, overcome obstacles with greater ease, and ultimately achieve the long-term mastery you seek. One of the fundamental ways to train discipline is by consciously embracing discomfort in small, manageable doses. The path to mastery inevitably involves stepping outside your comfort zone and doing things that are challenging, tedious, or even a little unpleasant. By intentionally and regularly engaging in activities that require effort and push your limits slightly, you build your tolerance for discomfort and strengthen your discipline muscle. Why this works is because it recalibrates your perception of what's difficult. As you consistently face and overcome minor discomforts, your capacity to handle larger challenges grows. What this looks like in practice is choosing the slightly harder option in everyday situations. For example, take the stairs instead of the elevator, wake up 15 minutes earlier to work on your most important habit, or commit to finishing a task even when you feel the urge to switch to something easier. Start small and gradually increase the level of challenge as your discipline grows. Another powerful principle for training discipline, especially when motivation is low, is the do something principle, or what author Mark Manson calls the do something principle. Often we wait for motivation to strike before taking action, but motivation frequently follows action, not the other way around. By committing to taking even a tiny action towards your habit or goal, regardless of how you feel, you can often generate the momentum needed to continue. Why this is effective is because action creates a positive feedback loop. Taking action leads to small wins or progress, which in turn boosts motivation and makes further action easier. It breaks the cycle of inaction and procrastination. What this looks like in practice is, if you don't feel like doing your scheduled workout, tell yourself you'll just do the first 5 minutes. If you're avoiding a difficult work task, commit to working on it for just 10 minutes. More often than not, once you start, you'll find it easier to keep going. Discipline isn't built through occasional grand gestures of willpower, but through the consistent application of small, daily efforts. This ties directly back to the power of habits. Each time you successfully execute a planned habit, especially when you don't feel like it, you are casting a vote for discipline and strengthening that capacity within yourself. The key is consistency, not intensity. particularly in the beginning. Why consistent small efforts build discipline is because they create neural pathways that make the desired behavior more automatic over time, requiring less conscious effort and willpower. It's the daily repetition that forges the steel of discipline. What this looks like in practice is focusing on showing up for your habits every day, even if you can only manage a shortened version. If your habit is to write for an hour, but you're exhausted, writing for just 15 minutes still reinforces the discipline of showing up. It's about maintaining the chain of consistency. A crucial aspect of discipline is the ability to delay gratification, to resist the temptation of an immediate reward in favor of a larger or more meaningful reward in the future. Our modern world is full of instant gratification, which can weaken our ability to strive for long-term goals. Training this skill involves consciously choosing the future benefit over the present pleasure. Why delaying gratification is important for discipline is because most significant achievements and mastery require sustained effort over time, with rewards that are often far off. Without this skill, we're more likely to succumb to distractions and short-term pleasures that derail our progress. What this looks like in practice is, for example, choosing to save money for a long-term goal instead of making an impulsive purchase, or opting to study for an important exam instead of watching another episode of a TV show. You can start small, perhaps by resisting the urge to check your phone immediately when a notification pops up, delaying it by 10 minutes, then 20, gradually strengthening that muscle of self-control. While discipline provides the ability to act, grit provides the endurance to persist over the long haul, fueled by a deep passion for your goals. To cultivate grit, it's essential to connect your daily habits and efforts to a larger, meaningful vision, your why. When your work is infused with purpose, you're more likely to persevere through the inevitable setbacks and periods of slow progress. Why passion for long-term goals fuels grit is because it provides intrinsic motivation that transcends temporary difficulties or boredom. It makes the struggle feel worthwhile. What this looks like in practice is regularly revisiting the compelling vision you set for your mastery journey, as discussed in Chapter 1, and reminding yourself of the deeper reasons you are pursuing this path. Reflect on how your daily habits are contributing to this larger purpose and the identity you are building, as discussed in Chapter 4. This connection provides the resilience to keep going when challenges arise. Consider Liam, who wanted to learn coding to switch careers, a goal that required months of dedicated study. Initially, his motivation was high, but after a few weeks, the complexity of the material and the slow progress made him want to quit. He trained his discipline by committing to at least 30 minutes of coding practice every single day, even on days he felt tired or discouraged. Consistent small efforts, embracing discomfort. If he truly felt resistant, he used the do-something principle, starting with just reviewing notes for 5 minutes, which often led to longer sessions. He delayed the gratification of watching TV until his study session was complete. To build grit, he constantly reminded himself of his vision, a more fulfilling and financially stable career that would allow him to provide better for his family and work on projects he was passionate about. This deep why kept him going through numerous frustrating bugs and complex concepts, eventually leading to his successful career transition. Training discipline and grit is an ongoing process, a daily commitment to choosing growth over comfort, long-term aspirations over short-term impulses. These qualities are the steadfast companions on your journey to daily mastery, ensuring that your well-designed habits and systems are consistently executed, day in and day out. But even with profound discipline and grit, your progress can be hampered if you're not effectively managing your two most precious resources, time and energy. How can you structure your days and manage your vitality to ensure you have the capacity to pursue your mastery habits consistently and effectively? The next chapter will explore practical strategies to optimize your time and energy, helping you work smarter, not just harder, and create a sustainable pace for your long-term journey of daily mastery. Are you ready to unlock new levels of efficiency and vitality? Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 6. Optimize Time and Energy. Imagine a skilled archer preparing to hit a distant target. It's not just the quality of the bow or the arrow that determines success, but also the archer's ability to manage their strength, maintain a steady aim, and choose the precise moment to release. Similarly, on your journey to daily mastery, even with well-formed habits, discipline, and grit, your progress can be significantly impacted by how effectively you manage your time and your personal energy. In a world filled with endless demands and potential distractions, simply having good intentions isn't enough. What if you could learn to allocate your hours and vitality with the same precision and strategic foresight as that skilled archer, ensuring your efforts consistently hit their mark? This chapter is about equipping you with the tools to optimize your time and energy, enabling you to sustain your daily mastery habits and achieve your goals with greater efficiency and less stress. The common challenge we often face is feeling perpetually busy yet unproductive, as if our days are a whirlwind of activity with little to show for it in terms of meaningful progress on our most important goals. We might find our time fragmented by constant interruptions, our energy depleted by non-essential tasks, or our days structured in a way that doesn't align with our natural rhythms of focus and vitality. This can lead to frustration, burnout, and the feeling that we simply don't have enough time or enough energy to dedicate to the habits that lead to mastery. We might try to cram more into our days, sacrificing rest and recovery, only to find our effectiveness diminishes. This isn't necessarily due to a lack of effort, but often a lack of strategic resource management, leaving our best intentions for daily mastery under-resourced and difficult to sustain. The transformative solution lies in shifting from a reactive approach to a proactive and strategic management of both your time and your energy. It's about recognizing that these are finite resources that must be consciously allocated to your highest priorities. The core idea is that by working smarter, understanding your own patterns, prioritizing effectively, and minimizing drains, you can achieve more with less struggle and create a sustainable pace for your long-term journey. This isn't just about time management in the traditional sense of scheduling tasks, but also energy management, which involves aligning your work with your natural energy cycles and ensuring adequate renewal. The benefits are substantial. You'll experience increased productivity on your mastery habits, reduced feelings of overwhelm, greater clarity about your priorities, more sustainable progress, and an enhanced overall sense of well-being and control over your daily life. A foundational principle for optimizing both time and energy is effective prioritization. Not all tasks or habits contribute equally to your mastery goals. Learning to distinguish between the vital few and the trivial many is crucial. Techniques like the Eisenhower matrix, which categorizes tasks based on urgency and importance, do, decide, delegate, delete, or the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, which suggests that roughly 80% of results come from 20% of efforts, can be invaluable. Why prioritization is critical is because it ensures your limited time and energy are invested in activities that yield the greatest return towards your mastery. It prevents you from wasting resources on low-impact tasks. What this looks like in practice is, at the start of each day or week, identifying the 1 to 3 most important tasks or habits that will move you significantly closer to your mastery vision. These become your non-negotiable priorities, around which you schedule other, less critical activities. Beyond managing time, consciously managing your personal energy levels is paramount. We all have natural ultradian rhythms, cycles of high and low energy throughout the day. Pay attention to when you typically feel most alert, creative, and focused, and schedule your most demanding mastery habits or deep work sessions during these peak energy windows. Conversely, allocate lower energy periods to more routine or less cognitively taxing tasks. Equally important is building in regular periods of rest and renewal to recharge your energy. Why energy management is vital is because sustained high performance is impossible without adequate recovery. Pushing yourself constantly without breaks leads to diminishing returns and eventual burnout. What this looks like in practice is perhaps scheduling your most intensive learning or practice session first thing in the morning, if that's when your focus is sharpest. It also means incorporating short breaks throughout your workday, as discussed with the Pomodoro technique, getting sufficient sleep, engaging in activities that replenish you, like exercise, hobbies, or spending time in nature, and even considering your nutrition and hydration as factors influencing your energy. Effective scheduling and time blocking, as introduced in the context of your daily system, are key tools for optimizing time. Once you've prioritized your mastery-related tasks, block out specific, dedicated time slots for them in your calendar as if they were unbreakable appointments. This protects your focus time from being encroached upon by other demands. Be realistic about how long tasks will take, and even build in buffer time for unexpected interruptions or to transition between activities. Why this structured scheduling works is because it converts intentions into concrete plans, reducing the likelihood of procrastination or getting sidetracked. It creates a clear roadmap for your day. What this looks like in practice is not just listing practice coding on your to-do list, but scheduling coding practice 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. in your calendar, and during that time, treating it with the seriousness of a client meeting. This proactive allocation of time ensures your mastery habits get the attention they deserve. To further enhance efficiency, consider batching similar tasks together. Constantly switching between different types of tasks, e.g. from creative work to administrative emails to focused learning, incurs a cognitive switching penalty, meaning your brain loses time and energy readjusting. By grouping similar activities and doing them in dedicated blocks, you can maintain a consistent mental mode, improving focus and speed. Why batching is effective is because it minimizes context switching and allows you to get into a flow state more easily for each type of task. What this looks like in practice is dedicating one block of time per day for checking and responding to all your emails, rather than doing it sporadically. Or, if your mastery journey involves research, writing, and editing, you might dedicate separate blocks for each of these activities, rather than constantly jumping between them. Finally, a crucial part of optimizing your resources is to proactively identify and eliminate or minimize common time and energy drains. These are the activities, commitments, or even thought patterns that consume your resources without contributing significantly to your goals or well-being. This could include excessive social media use, unnecessary meetings, commitments you've outgrown, perfectionism that leads to overthinking minor details, or even tolerating a cluttered or distracting environment. Why eliminating drains is important is because it frees up valuable time and mental energy that can then be redirected towards your mastery habits and priorities. It's like plugging leaks in a bucket. What this looks like in practice is conducting a time audit for a few days to see where your time actually goes, then identifying activities that offer little value. You might decide to limit your social media to specific times, decline meetings that don't have a clear agenda or your necessary presence, or practice saying no more often to requests that don't align with your priorities. Consider Priya, an aspiring entrepreneur working on launching her online business while also holding down a part-time job. She felt constantly overwhelmed. She started by prioritizing. Her most important daily tasks were product development and marketing outreach for her new business. She realized her peak energy was from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., so she blocked that time strictly for these core business tasks. She batched all her email correspondence and administrative tasks for her part-time job into 2 45-minute slots per day. She identified that aimless social media scrolling was a major energy drain, so she used an app to limit her access during work hours. She also made sure to take a 15-minute walk after lunch to recharge. By strategically managing her time and energy, Priya transformed her chaotic days into productive ones, making significant strides in her business without burning out. Optimizing your time and energy is not about becoming a robot or squeezing every last drop of productivity out of yourself. It's about creating a sustainable and intelligent approach to your daily efforts, ensuring that your precious resources are directed towards what truly matters for your mastery journey. With these strategies in place, your daily system becomes even more robust. But even the best systems and most disciplined individuals can sometimes find their progress stalling if the underlying motivation, the very purpose driving their efforts, begins to fade. How do you ensure your daily habits remain infused with meaning and drive over the long haul? The next chapter will explore how to sustain your progress with purpose, delving into strategies to keep your why alive and vibrant, ensuring your journey towards daily mastery remains not just productive, but also deeply fulfilling. Are you ready to connect your habits to a current that never runs dry? Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 7. Sustain Progress with Purpose. Imagine a marathon runner, miles into the race, with a well-honed technique and excellent physical conditioning. They have the habits, the discipline, and the optimized energy. Yet, if they lose sight of why they are running, perhaps the personal challenge, the cause they are supporting, or the sheer joy of pushing their limits, their pace can falter, their resolve can weaken, and the finish line can seem to recede into an impossible distance. Similarly, on your journey of daily mastery, even with a beautifully designed system and well-formed habits, progress can stall and motivation can wane if your daily actions become disconnected from a deeper, evolving sense of purpose. This chapter is about ensuring that your pursuit of mastery remains vibrant and fulfilling by learning how to continuously sustain your progress with a clear and compelling purpose. The common challenge, even for those who have successfully established consistent habits, is hitting a plateau where progress seems to slow dramatically, or where the initial excitement and meaning behind the habits begin to fade. Daily routines, once novel and challenging, can become rote and mechanical. The why that initially sparked your journey might get buried under the sheer repetition of daily tasks, or your circumstances and aspirations might evolve, making your original purpose feel less relevant. This can lead to a gradual decline in motivation, a sense of going through the motions, or even a quiet questioning of whether the continued effort is truly worthwhile. Without a conscious effort to keep your purpose alive and aligned with your actions, even the most unstoppable habits can lose their driving force, leaving you feeling adrift despite your ongoing efforts. The transformative solution lies in actively and continuously infusing your daily habits and your overall mastery journey with a dynamic and evolving sense of purpose. It's about understanding that purpose isn't a one-time declaration, but a living compass that needs regular recalibration and conscious engagement. The core idea is that when your daily actions are deeply connected to what you value most and the impact you wish to create, your motivation becomes more resilient, your efforts feel more meaningful, and your ability to sustain progress through challenges and plateaus is significantly enhanced. This transforms your habits from mere tasks into expressions of your deepest commitments. The benefits are profound: a sustained sense of intrinsic motivation, greater resilience in the face of boredom or difficulty, increased fulfillment from your daily efforts, and a clearer sense of direction that helps you navigate the long and winding path of mastery with enduring enthusiasm. A fundamental practice for sustaining progress with purpose is to regularly reconnect with, and if necessary, refine your why. As discussed in earlier chapters, your initial vision and the identity you aspire to are powerful motivators. However, these can and should evolve as you grow. Set aside time periodically, perhaps monthly or at key transition points, to reflect on your core motivations. Ask yourself, is my original why still energizing me? Have my values or priorities shifted? What new aspects of this mastery journey are now most meaningful to me? How does this daily habit contribute to the person I am becoming or the impact I want to make? Why this regular reconnection is vital is because it ensures your actions remain aligned with your deepest drivers, preventing your habits from becoming purposeless routines. What this looks like in practice is journaling about these questions, meditating on your purpose, or discussing your evolving aspirations with a trusted mentor or friend. You might even create an updated vision statement or list of core values that reflect your current understanding of your purpose. To avoid stagnation and keep your purpose fresh, it's also crucial to set evolving goals within your broader mastery path. While long-term consistency in your core habits is key, introducing new, intermediate challenges or learning objectives related to your chosen skill can reignite your interest and provide fresh targets for your purpose-driven efforts. If you've mastered the basics of a skill, aim for a more advanced technique. If you've achieved one level of fitness, set a new performance goal. Why evolving goals are important is because they provide a continued sense of progress and learning, preventing your journey from feeling like an endless plateau. They offer new ways to express your purpose through tangible achievements. What this looks like in practice is, if you're learning a language, after mastering basic conversation, you might set a new goal to read a short book in that language or to watch a film without subtitles. These new sub-goals keep the journey dynamic and your engagement high. Sustaining purpose also involves tracking meaningful progress, focusing on metrics that truly reflect your growth and learning rather than just counting task completions. While tracking habit consistency is valuable, also pay attention to qualitative improvements, insights gained, challenges overcome, and the development of your skills. For example, instead of just noting "practiced piano for 30 minutes", also reflect on "mastered a difficult passage" or "felt a deeper emotional connection to the music today". Why tracking meaningful progress is important is because it provides evidence that your efforts are leading to genuine development, which is incredibly motivating and reinforces your sense of purpose. It shows you that the daily grind is indeed contributing to something significant. What this looks like in practice is keeping a learning journal where you not only log your practice hours, but also jot down new understandings, breakthroughs, and areas where you feel you've tangibly improved. Celebrate these qualitative milestones as much as quantitative ones. It's also essential to deliberately cultivate joy and curiosity in your daily practice, even in well-established habits. Purpose isn't just about serious striving. It can also be about finding delight and engagement in the process itself. If your habits start to feel like a monotonous chore, look for ways to inject novelty, experimentation, or a sense of play. Approach your practice with a beginner's mind from time to time, rediscovering what initially excited you about this area of mastery. Why finding joy and curiosity is crucial for sustaining purpose is because positive emotions are powerful fuel for long-term commitment. When you enjoy the process, it feels less like work and more like a fulfilling pursuit. What this looks like in practice is, if your habit is daily exercise, try a new type of workout, explore a new running trail, or focus on the sheer pleasure of movement, rather than just the calorie burn. If it's a creative habit, allow yourself to experiment without judgment, purely for the joy of creation. Finally, a powerful way to sustain purpose is to connect your daily mastery and habits to a sense of contribution or service beyond yourself. How can the skills you are developing, the knowledge you are acquiring, or the person you are becoming make a positive difference to others, your community, or even a larger cause? When you see your personal growth as having a wider impact, it imbues your daily efforts with a profound sense of meaning and responsibility. Why connecting to contribution amplifies purpose is because it taps into our innate human desire to be part of something bigger than ourselves. It provides a selfless motivation that can be incredibly resilient. What this looks like in practice is finding ways to use your developing skills to help others. Perhaps by mentoring someone, volunteering your expertise, creating content that educates or inspires, or simply being a more effective and compassionate presence in your relationships as a result of your personal growth. Consider Javier, a dedicated software developer who, after years of honing his coding skills through daily practice, started to feel his work becoming routine. His initial purpose of achieving technical excellence felt less compelling. He decided to reconnect with his why by thinking about contribution. He realized he could use his advanced skills to develop educational software for underprivileged children. This new service-oriented purpose reignited his passion. He set evolving goals to learn about educational technology. He found joy in the challenge of creating user-friendly interfaces for young learners. His daily coding habits were no longer just about technical mastery, but about making a tangible difference. This revitalized purpose sustained his progress and brought a new level of fulfillment to his daily work. Sustaining your progress with purpose is about ensuring that your daily habits are not just cogs in a machine, but meaningful expressions of who you are and what you value. By regularly tuning into your why, setting evolving goals, tracking what truly matters, cultivating joy, and connecting to contribution, you create an inexhaustible source of motivation that will carry you through the inevitable ups and downs of the mastery journey. With this deep sense of purpose fueling your daily system and unstoppable habits, you are truly poised to achieve lasting results. But how do you ensure that this entire framework of daily mastery becomes not just something you do, but something you are? How do you fully embody these principles in every aspect of your life? The next chapter, our final main chapter, will explore how to embody mastery every day, integrating these powerful concepts into the very essence of your being so that excellence and continuous growth become your natural state. Are you ready to make daily mastery your way of life? Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint. Give this video a like and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 8. Embody Mastery Every Day. Imagine a seasoned martial artist whose movements are not just technically proficient during practice, but whose every gesture, even in daily life, reflects a sense of balance, mindfulness, and precise intention. Their mastery is not confined to the dojo, it permeates their entire way of being. This is the ultimate aspiration of daily mastery, to reach a point where the principles of focused effort, continuous growth, and purposeful action are so deeply integrated that they become a natural expression of who you are, effortlessly woven into the fabric of your everyday existence. This isn't about achieving a final static state of perfection, but about embodying a dynamic, ongoing commitment to excellence in all that you do. This final chapter explores how to move beyond merely practicing habits to truly living and breathing the essence of daily mastery, making it an authentic and enduring part of your identity. The challenge that can arise, even after diligently applying all the strategies for habit formation, discipline, and purpose, is the feeling that these practices are still somewhat separate from the rest of life. Things you do at specific times, rather than principles that define your general approach. There might be a disconnect between the focused intention you bring to your mastery habits and the way you navigate more mundane daily tasks or unexpected challenges. The risk is that your mastery mindset becomes compartmentalized, activated only during designated practice or work periods, rather than becoming a holistic way of engaging with the world. This can limit the full transformative power of your journey, preventing the principles of daily mastery from truly enriching every facet of your life and becoming an intrinsic part of your character. The transformative solution is to consciously strive to embody the principles of mastery in all aspects of your daily life, extending the focus, intentionality, and growth mindset you've cultivated for specific habits into your broader interactions, decisions, and even your inner dialogue. It's about recognizing that every moment presents an opportunity to practice and express the qualities you are developing. The core idea is that true mastery isn't just about what you achieve, it's about the person you become. By consistently applying principles like mindful presence, continuous reflection, and alignment with your chosen identity across diverse contexts, you integrate these qualities so deeply that they become your default mode of operation. The benefits are a profound sense of coherence and integrity, where your actions consistently reflect your highest values and aspirations. You experience a more consistent state of flow, resilience, and fulfillment, as the edge of mastery infuses your entire existence, not just specific tasks. One fundamental way to embody mastery every day is to cultivate mindful presence in all your actions, even the seemingly mundane. Whether you're washing dishes, commuting to work, or engaging in a conversation, practice bringing your full attention to the present moment, performing each action with care and intention rather than rushing through on autopilot. Why mindful presence is key to embodying mastery is because it trains your focus, enhances your awareness, and allows you to find opportunities for excellence and learning in everyday situations. It turns routine activities into moments of practice. What this looks like in practice is when you're eating, savor the taste and texture of your food instead of scrolling on your phone. When you're listening to someone, give them your undivided attention instead of planning your response. This conscious engagement with the present deepens your capacity for focus and appreciation in all areas. Embracing continuous reflection and gentle self-correction as a constant, almost background process is another vital aspect of embodying daily mastery. This isn't about harsh self-criticism, but about maintaining an open, learning-oriented stance towards your experiences. At the end of each day, or even after specific interactions or tasks, take a brief moment to reflect. What went well? What could I have approached differently? What did I learn? Why this continuous reflection is important is because it accelerates your learning curve and allows you to make subtle adjustments that compound over time, leading to ongoing refinement of your skills and mindset. It keeps you adaptable and responsive. What this looks like in practice is a quiet internal review. If a conversation felt awkward, you might briefly consider how you could have communicated more clearly. If a task took longer than expected, you might reflect on how to approach it more efficiently next time. It's about fostering a gentle, ongoing dialogue with yourself about growth. Consistently living your chosen mastery identity, as explored in Chapter 4, across different contexts and situations is crucial for truly embodying mastery. The person you strive to be, whether it's a disciplined learner, a compassionate leader, or a focused creator, shouldn't just show up during designated habit times. Endeavor to bring the qualities of that identity into your interactions with family, your approach to unexpected problems, and your leisure activities. Why consistency in living your identity is so powerful is because it reinforces those neural pathways and makes the desired traits more automatic and authentic. It dissolves the separation between practice and life. What this looks like in practice is asking yourself in various situations, how would the Your Mastery Identity version of me handle this? If you identify as a problem solver, you approach a broken appliance at home with the same curiosity and persistence you'd bring to a work challenge. A profound aspect of embodying mastery every day is embracing imperfection on the path. True mastery is not about achieving flawless execution at all times. That's an unrealistic and demotivating expectation. Instead, it's about an unwavering commitment to the process of growth, which inherently includes mistakes, setbacks, and learning from them. Understand that embodying mastery means embodying the mindset of a learner, resilient, open, and always striving yet compassionate towards your own human fallibility. Why embracing imperfection is essential is because the fear of not being perfect can paralyze action and stifle growth. Accepting that mistakes are part of the journey allows you to stay engaged and keep learning without an undue burden of self-criticism. What this looks like in practice is, when you make a mistake, you don't see it as a failure of your mastery, but as an opportunity to deepen it. You acknowledge the error, extract the lesson, and continue forward with renewed commitment rather than discouragement. Ultimately, as you embody these principles more fully, you may find that you begin to inspire others through your example, often without even trying. When people see your consistent dedication, your resilience in the face of challenges, your focused engagement, and your continuous growth, it can have a powerful, positive influence. This isn't about actively trying to be a role model, but about the natural ripple effect of living a life dedicated to daily mastery. Why this unintentional inspiration is a beautiful byproduct is because it extends the impact of your personal journey, contributing to a culture of growth and excellence around you. What this looks like in practice is simply living authentically according to your principles. Your colleagues might notice your calm focus, your children might observe your persistence with a new skill, or your friends might be inspired by your positive approach to challenges. Your embodiment becomes a quiet testament to the power of daily mastery. Consider Lena, who had diligently worked on building habits for writing, physical fitness, and mindfulness. Initially, these were distinct slots in her day. As she progressed, she began to embody mastery more holistically. She brought mindful presence to her cooking, turning it into a meditative practice. She applied the discipline she learned from her fitness routine to tackling difficult conversations with more resolve. When facing a setback in her writing, she approached it with the same growth mindset she cultivated for all her habits, seeking the lesson rather than succumbing to frustration. She found that her identity as a focused and resilient creator started to influence how she approached all her tasks, big and small. Her friends noticed her increased calm and purposefulness. Lena wasn't just doing mastery, she was becoming it, and her entire life felt more integrated and fulfilling as a result. Embodying mastery every day is the culmination of your journey with daily habits, but it is also a continuous beginning. It is the art of transforming conscious effort into unconscious competence, and specific practices into a pervasive way of being. It's about living with intention, focus, and a commitment to perpetual growth, finding excellence not just in grand achievements, but in the quality of your attention and effort in each present moment. This path isn't about reaching a final state of perfection, but about the ongoing, joyful pursuit of becoming the best version of yourself, day by day. As you internalize these principles, you'll find that daily mastery ceases to be a set of techniques and becomes quite simply the way you live your life. With purpose, presence, and an ever-expanding capacity for achievement and fulfillment. This continuous unfolding is the truest expression of an unstoppable habit system, creating not just results, but a life rich with meaning and ongoing evolution. Thank you for embarking on this exploration of daily mastery. Create unstoppable habits for results. We've journeyed from sparking your initial commitment and designing your daily system through the intricacies of breaking old loops and forging identity-based habits, to training discipline and grit, optimizing your resources, and sustaining your progress with enduring purpose. Our hope is that these chapters have provided you with a comprehensive blueprint not just for building habits that stick, but for cultivating a mindset and a lifestyle of continuous growth and achievement. The power to transform your days and ultimately your life lies in the consistent application of these principles. We sincerely appreciate you investing your time with us. Remember to like this video, share your insights or questions in the comments, and subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint for more content dedicated to helping you unlock your full potential.